All right, we have to talk about this a little bit. You made a bunch of videos about it. There was a moment in time, it still goes on, but there's a moment where it's really people are freaking out about the use of AI in music. Uh, so there's these, I would say, incredible apps like Suno, UDO, 11 Labs Music is also great. They can generate basically text to song, full song from a text prompt. And a lot of people start freaking out just based on how good it is.
Mhm.
And so you start to immediately imagine how this is going to transform music, and you're going to replace musicians and all that kind of stuff. It is legitimately nerve-wracking because these are early versions, so you don't know where it goes. But in your intuition now, you've been thinking about this, you made a bunch of videos. Now, like, being able to reflect, okay, everybody chill, calm down.
So if you write a prompt in Suno and it spits out a song, which I've made a bunch of videos in this. I made up a fake artist, Eli Mercer, in this video. Then I did a thing for CBS News. I made up this fake artist, Sadie Winters, and came up with this song, Walking Away. Well, the program came up with it.
There is some creativity in a process. So in this particular thing, the process is you generate an image.
I did it in ChatGPT, the image. And then I went to Claude and I wrote the lyrics because Claude's way better at lyrics than Suno is. Suno's bad at lyrics, at least right now. So I created the lyrics in Claude and then I imported the lyrics into Suno. And I had great results with the songs that it came up with. I always have to qualify that. But I started thinking about this. People freak out about this. Oh, this is bad. And then I was like, no, who are going to be the ones that are going to benefit from AI? Well, the people that are already great songwriters, because you have to be able to recognize when it spits out something good versus when it spits out something that's not that good. And every other song, I've probably created 130 song ideas, out of which there's 3 good ones.
And there's a thing that's happening where people's ear very quickly is becoming attuned to AI slop.
Yes.
And that's actually quite fascinating. Like, for example, one of the things, there's this viral clip going around of an AI-based, like a soul jazz remix of songs like 50 Cent, Many Men. And I think it is super impressive. And it's a different pipeline, actually. It's a tricky pipeline how to pull that off. And I think a lot of the creativity in that, even that kind of remixing, is in the pipeline that of how you actually do that, because there's actually a lot of manual stuff in that pipeline. But I think ironically, it's very cool at first, but when you listen to it for a while, you understand that this is AI slop.
Yes.
For a soul remix, it actually lacks soul. But it made me think of, like, when I listen to soul or blues, I think I really want, in that case, to know, I don't want an AI BB King. I want the real BB King. And if I know if any AI is involved in the BB King process, I'm tuning out.
Yes.
And I don't think I'm being curmudgeonly old dude in that. I think we humans want authenticity.
So when I first started making these AI videos, it started back in 2023. I made my first one. And I would take my phone, come up in the kitchen, I'd play a song, and my youngest and Dylan, my youngest Layla, and I have 3 kids, and my oldest Dylan, as soon as I played, "Why are you listening to AI?" And I was like, "Oh my God," instantly. I was like, "How do you know?" "Oh, it has this ringing sound in the thing." So it took me probably about 4 or 5 days to figure, okay, what are they hearing that I'm not hearing? So I separated all the parts, and what they're hearing was the artifacts that are in the vocal reverb that made incomplete. It just couldn't do the ambiances correctly, right? Because it's trained on, a lot of these AI programs are trained on very low bit rate MP3s, right? So they feed all this stuff in there. So they're getting really inferior information on in the training process. Whereas now, when they make these deals with the major labels, they'll get the multi-tracks and they'll get high quality wave files to train from, right? And whoever opts in, they get the solo vocal tracks. You know, if Ed Sheeran wants to do it, or Drake, or whoever wants to give their voice to it, let it do its thing, and then get their royalties from it. I'm not saying that any of them are doing it. I'm just giving an example. But every time that I would do it, I could be down the hall and I would play something on my phone just to see if they'll like, why are you listening to AI? Oh, they can instantly tell. Then eventually it started getting better. And then it'd be like, is this AI? I'd be in the car with Layla coming back from Taekwondo practice. And she's like, is this AI? Why does it sound like AI? It sounds like it could be AI. And I'd be like, yeah, it's AI. She's like, oh, it's getting better.
Mm.
And then I did this song for, it was an NPR interview. I created a song with a fake artist, and the song was called Neon Ghosts. And I played it for Layla in the car. She's like, can you separate the tracks? I said, yeah, I have them separated back home. Okay, I want to go down here. So we go down to the studio and I play it for her, and she listens to the soloed vocal. She said, wow, this is really realistic.
Mm-hmm.
This is very hard to tell, even with a soloed vocal.
I think the room for creativity right now for humans is lyrics. It seems like the lyrics that are being generated, they lack soul somehow.
Yes.
I don't know the words correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be incredibly sophisticated, but there's something, the edge is not there. Some kind of edge that we want in our lyrics, some kind of surprise, but not cringe or not cliche. Something truly novel in the lyrics. But that, if that's the case, it's kind of sad that that that's where the creativity is to come from, but not from the music. Because then if we can create very realistic music that sounds really damn good, where's the role of the musician there?
I think the role of the musician is that in actually, if they use AI to assist them in coming up with ideas, like as a creation tool, then the musician, like some of the stuff is just not high quality, sonically high quality. So the musician goes in and redoes stuff and changes things and adds parts. And then they actually do music production. And maybe they re-sing the parts and they change the stuff. And then it's just basically like an idea generator. And I think that that's a great use of AI is for that.
But see, if you do that, does it make you sad that you don't necessarily need to learn instruments? So basically, you can think of it as a different kind of instrument, but you can write lyrics, you can hum the melody, you can just hum parts.
Yeah.
And then do A-B kind of thing, this kind of rhythm, this kind of, and stitch them together, and never actually have your fingers on a guitar or fingers
That's
on a
why
drumstick.
I'm not going to use AI, Lex, is for that reason, because to me, it's just boring. And when I use it, it's just like, Like I used it for about a month or so just because I was making videos and I was trying to see how it's advancing. Every 3 or 4 months, I'll sit down and I'll see whatever new versions they have, and I'll write some songs. I'll prompt some songs and see what they come up with and see if they're improving on the things. But ultimately, I don't find it interesting to use.
I hear you. You're a bit old school.
I'm old school.
Am I.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about the future. And I think it's still, even in the future, also going to be boring. I think there's something fundamentally boring about it. And I'm trying to figure it out. So, for example, I use it a lot for more for programming. So for building stuff. And there, it's not about the final output is not the code. The output is what the code creates. And there, it's extremely useful. It doesn't matter if it's boring or not, it's useful. But when the final output is the thing that AI creates, which it would be in music, then there's something about us that just, like, we know there is something boring about it.
Yes.
We want to celebrate and see the thing that's hard to create. And if AI can just text the song, generate a top 10 hit, we will quickly lose value for that, I think. And so we'll want raw, whatever shape that raw takes. I wouldn't say raw talent, but that raw talent of any kind. And perhaps it would make me a little bit sad, but that's also awesome. Perhaps the new kind of raw talent that civilization is asking for is how to make great TikToks. Maybe that's what raw talent looks like. It makes me a little bit sad because I'm a huge fan of long form.
Mm-hmm.
But that also creating TikToks and is also talent.
It is a talent, absolutely. When I see anything that's AI generated, I instantly recognize it. Any video, I'm like, ugh, boring, boring, boring. And my kids do the same thing. They just have no interest in engaging with it. As soon as they recognize it, and they can spot it a mile away, and they're just like boring, 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 boring. And then they kind of they don't even want to engage with the social media platforms, which is a danger. Which I think they need to crack down on the AI slop. YouTube's done a pretty good job on it, but it's hard to stay on this. It gets flooded with so much of this stuff. It's so easy to create and put up there, and to just be in the whack-a-mole thing where you just trying to get rid of it all is
fundamentally it's fundamentally boring. I think boring is a really good
boring,
and it's annoying to have to flip through the AI slop.
Yeah.
But I think actually as a civilization is just inspiring for authenticity because you want to be real raw, and being raw, which one of the things I like about podcasts is people just shooting shit and just being themselves in the long form versus overproduced. Because I think AI is making people realize that AI is good at being overproduced.
Right.
So there'll be more.
Let's get that covered.
Yeah. Even artists, because you're saying they'll use it as tools. Part of me thinks not really. I think they'll quickly, this kind of process of generating a bunch of different options, and choosing the one you like the most, I think is a really frustrating process for artists. And I think AI will definitely be used extremely effectively as a very fine-grained tool in the image domain. It's editing images, but not like macro editing, but very specific kind of editing that Photoshop is increasingly integrated in. I mentioned to you offline, so the whole Isotope RX group of software that does a lot of the denoising, all the removing the wind, they integrate machine learning extremely effectively.
Yes,
for working with audio in different kinds of ways. There's a bunch of different other programs that do that. Maybe for B-roll footage, and same thing on the audio. If you just need a little audio to create a feeling of a scene, it might be used there in that kind of way. But truly original stuff.
I've saved videos where I'm speaking over music, for example, in an interview. Somebody's playing and we have two people speaking in lavs, but there's so much bleed coming from the person playing that you can't hear what we're saying. And then we'll split out the voice for that section, the two voices, separate them, and then take the music and separate that stuff. And so it's really helpful for things like that.